This week on the Minding Your Business podcast, we're living the done is better than perfect mantra. Welcome to the Minding Your Business podcast. I'm CJ Jolliffe, back with everyone's favorite co-host,
Aaron Gerald. I am so excited to be here this year. I tell you, there are some things in the works that I'm excited to kind of update everybody on.
Yeah. Give us the update.
Including you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm 52 now. Believe that?
Nice.
Yeah.
It's
like
I'm
3 more years
you,
till I start
chasing you.
3 more years till I start getting discounts. Which I'm looking forward to. So for the last, honestly, last year started, I think we had started talking about it, and I don't remember if we even put it onto the podcast, but basically, I'll catch you up on what I've been working on this last month, because we've been off for the last month and haven't been doing anything, haven't even been checking in. So I completed the process of systematizing the couples. I don't want to call it therapy, but I want to call it a communication system or framework for stopping the same fight over and over. Because typically what I'm finding with all of the couples is they come in week after week after week saying, oh, we had a huge argument, it was about this. And when we boil it down, we get to under the surface, it's never about the topic. It's the same fight over and over and over. And so I thought there's got to be a way that I can stop saying it every single week and do it to where it can be more scalable, where I could do it and people could get in, read the book or take a course or learn the thing, have some actual tools in their hand, to where when that fight starts, they go, oh, wait a minute, I know how to reset, and then we can come back and repair. So I was able to put all of those this last, 60 days into a system that then I had to beat up and redo. It's in probably, version 6 now. But I think it's good enough now to start trying to see if cold contacts and people, if it'll help them.
Right.
And so I'm taking your advice. I know that typically speaking, I run down and I run. I like whatever it is that I start to focus on, I go, this is a great idea. And then I run full speed. And then I go, this is boring. And then I stop and I run down chase after something else. And this is the thing, the area, the arena, the direction that I continually come back to. I'll run down another rabbit hole. I want to make funny videos, or I want to make different things, break up stuff. And then I ultimately come back to helping couples communicate better.
Right.
So I've decided this year, and with a little bit of help from the medication I started, finally treating my ADHD, and it's helped me kind of focus, and then recognizing what I thought were personality quirks, parts of me that I couldn't change necessarily. I found out were very, very much symptoms of the ADHD. And so I thought, well, if it's a symptom, then I can change. Why it didn't occur to me sooner. But as I got that, I started to think, wait, the urge to run down this rabbit hole is just that. And I'm going to change my mind. And I saw this silly, I'm going to call it silly, but it was incredibly impactful clip or post or Instagram thing. And again, I wish I knew who it was so I could give them credit. But the gal on there, I think she was from the UK, said she's named her brain. Okay, and so she names her brain Becky. So when she wakes up in the morning and she isn't feeling motivated, she goes, Becky, not today. I don't have time to not be motivated.
Right.
Oh my gosh. As soon as I started, I call mine Fred. So Fred pisses me off all the time, but Fred's my brain. And so when it's telling me you're not motivated, you don't want to get up, I go, yeah, I don't have time for that today, Fred. And it's like that negative thing goes, shoot, and it fades. And it goes away very quickly. And I go, yeah, today I'm in charge. I'm going for it. I don't have to listen to Fred today. So off I go and I get the things done. When something looks boring, I go, oh my God, you know what? Not today, Fred. I don't have time for this to be boring.
Yeah.
And then it suddenly stops being boring because now I'm focused on the thing. I'm focused on the outcome, not on the task.
Right.
And It's amazing how well that works. Anyway, long story short, I have written the book. It's in version 1, and I know too, as people get it and start reading it, they go, "Wait, yes, there's going to need to be some changes, some revisions, I'm sure." But done is better than perfect.
That's it.
And so I finished it. I'm waiting. It's going to take 72 hours. Oh, you probably have a lot of brightness because I got that stupid screen on. But I'm going to wait. It's going to come out. We're going to fine tune and tweak as we go. I do have the program set up in my mind of what I want to do to help couples, but I think what I'm going to do first is take your advice and prove the concept first. I'm going to go out and start talking to people. Um, I've got a list of about 20 places I'm going to be contacting this next week to see if they have any need for someone to come in and help couples with their communication.
Yeah.
And if it is, then I'll go test the waters. And so I'm excited to see where the next 30, 60, 90 days is going to take me. Um,
Well,
catch
I
me-
definitely want a copy, right?
oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah,
want a
yeah.
hard copy, and I want you to sign it.
I'll
Uh,
sign it for sure.
but
Um,
that's amazing. First of all, I think that, we had talked a little bit about this before, but not on the podcast.
right.
You, going after people that are, I think, not in crisis,
Yeah.
right? But looking for people that are, like, already looking for improvement, right?
Yes.
That's your target market, and they're gonna get so much more out of it because that's the kind of people they are,
Right.
versus people that are in crisis. They're just, you're just throwing
They're
a little
scrambling.
water on the flame, right?
Yeah, and it's so much more like triage where it's just
Right,
like stopping the bleeding. And I'm not that they aren't important and not that they don't need something, but it kind of goes back to that medical model. I don't want that medical model. I
right,
don't want that's the sickness model. Well, I'll treat them once they're sick.
right.
No, I can help them avoid the sickness in the first place. Let's go with a
Yeah,
wellness model.
yeah,
Like, let
prevention.
me talk to the people before that. If I can help a generation or a bunch of people before they ever get to that space where they need triage, there's enough people doing that now. There's
Yeah,
therapists, I do it in my office. But if I can help them before they need to come to the office, woo, why wouldn't I?
yeah,
It doesn't
yeah.
make any sense not to. So
So is it specific to, like, romantic relationships, or does this work in, like, any personal, like, communication type stuff?
honestly, it's just really it's generic relationship communication.
Okay.
But if I say that, then the couples go, "That's good, but I'm
Yeah,
not having a
yeah,
problem
yeah,
with my coworkers. I'm having a problem with." And typically speaking, here's the trouble is that couples don't recognize and people in couplehood are generally people don't recognize their default. And so they go to work and they talk and they do their thing, they do what they're going to do, but their spouse or their partner goes, "You don't seem to have any trouble communicating with the people at work, but you do with me." And so then it feels personal. And so they feel like their partner's not broken at work with everyone else, it's their relationship that's unique that has the problem. So if I said, no, this is just general relationship stuff, this is going to help you in relationships across the board. They're like, well, I don't need any help at work and at church
right.
and with my friend group and my bowling league, but with my partner, I do. And it's because the intimate nature of that relationship where it's always an old story. It's always what it means. It's not the thing. It's like, yeah, they could go, okay. And they go, what's that mean?
Mm,
Well, to them, it means something and they paint it with history and with all these other things. Whereas if
right.
somebody at work does, you're like, whatever, because it doesn't have the same meaning. It doesn't have the same impact. So
Yeah,
the weight of the relationship is going to change the meaning basically of the communication. So that's kind of where I'm at. So right now I'm focusing it fairly specific with romantic relationships,
that's
partnership,
good.
marriages, that
Yeah,
kind of thing. And then eventually I can branch out. That's fine. Is if it wears out to where couples are like, oh my God, we got this, and everybody's fine and everybody's communicating and it's no longer an issue, then I can be like, guess what? I can help you communicate better at work.
yeah, but you could so it's specifically focusing on romantic relationships,
For
but you could take it and do, like, another version of it or do, like, a
right.
workshop and do it for, like, a corporate environment.
Yes. And what's interesting is as the couples learn to communicate better with each other, they'll recognize the patterns in themselves and then recognize the patterns in the other relationships that they have. And so all communication is going to get much, much better because they're basically sharpening the knife, their tools, to where
Right.
they go, oh my God, I now know how to use this in multiple areas of my life. But
Yes.
by focusing on the one that they consider to be most important, it'll bleed over. So that's fine.
I think it's great. I think, well, obviously, I wish you the best, and
Mm.
I'm here to help along the way, but I think it's great, man. I mean, um, what's neat is that you haven't just gone down a path, which I expect you to do. If we haven't talked for 2 weeks, I expect
Uh,
something new. But
yeah.
you've actually taken something to completion, the book,
Yeah.
and I think starting there is a great way because you can sell it, you can use it as a, lead magnet. There's a lot of things you can do with that.
Right.
And then you can use that as, a proof for demand, right?
Yeah. And so, yeah, my idea is I'm really leaning into I and maybe this is good, maybe whatever, but I ask myself every time I start to think, "Oh, I'm gonna run down." Yes, like I start to obsess over something and I go, "Ba, ba, ba. What would CJ tell me to do?" I mean, it's not what would CJ do?
Yeah, what
It's
would
what
CJ
would you
tell you to do?
it's
Don't say,
what
"What
would you
would
tell
CJ
me to
do?"
do? Because
Yeah,
I know too, like you go, no, I know what to do, but it's hard for me to do it. I understand that. You
yeah.
give me amazing direction and I go, oh, are you doing that for yourself? And you're like, not yet.
Not yet.
So
Yeah,
I get it. So I ask myself, what would CJ tell me to do in this position? And he would say, does that lead to the ultimate goal? And I'm
right.
like, no. And it's getting in the way of that. So I won't do that right now. I'm going to put a pin in it. So instead of me telling myself, well, you're stupid, I get rid of I just now tell myself, I'm going to put a pin in it. And if it's still important next week, I'll do it. And obviously,
Nice.
next week it loses its luster. And so I move on.
Sure.
But I can't not obsess. You know that. So the prospect, the project, the whole thing, I'm like, oh my God, I can make this a course. It could be self directed. It could be online. Like people could
Yeah,
get online, log in, take the thing. They could take it individually. They could take it as a couple. I could create and make this into a program that I could lead, that I could take cohorts through.
yeah,
I could systematize this and make it to where leaders, like let's say at a church, they could buy the program, implement it with their own teachings using my system and
yeah,
with the framework. And I'm
yeah.
like, there's so many different opportunities, but I need to slow down and not run in 5 lanes. I need to take one at a time. And if I'm going to start passing it along to groups and churches and places and
Yeah,
create a program that's going to be led by others, well, then I need to make sure it's the best possible program at that point. So
yeah,
I don't want to do that until I've led multiple cohorts through the program. Yes, proof of concept. Do people need to communicate? Yes. Does this system work? Yes. I do it all the time one on one.
yes.
Now I need to prove that it works in a group setting.
Right.
And if it works in group and multiple people can get it, then I can prove that it works as a program and then I can sell the program.
It's it's really funny because there's a very much a parallel between what you've been working on and what I've been working on.
Catch
Um,
me up. It's been a month. What are you working on?
so obviously we're working on together the book, the Minding Your Business book. Um,
Yes.
and but separate from that, I've gone through worked with. Do you remember Chris Pizar?
Yes.
So he and I worked through and redid my website,
Yeah.
which was cjjolliffe.com. We're actually switching the URL. It will still point to it, but
Okay.
going along, all of my rebranding, and this has been about a year and a half in the works.
Okay.
But and I think you know
Mhm.
the URL, and I think we've talked about it, but um, it's businessbuilder.coach.
Okay.
And so uh, that's kind of where I'm going. That's the direction I'm going personally. Obviously, I still own the businesses and I'm still very involved in those things, but
Right.
I'm looking at it from a what can I do? Same kind of thing, right? Where course, book, workshops, those kinds of things. I can't do any of that in the space that I've been in.
Right.
And that's really where I want to go. I want to have more of a hands-on. Um, that's not the right way to say it. I want to be more involved in the success of a business,
Right.
less involved in the individual cogs of what's helping that business run and succeed, like say
Okay.
website and or social media.
Yes.
and more from a overarching, 30,000 foot view. Here's how it all ties together.
Okay.
And so business builder is kind of the direction I've gone. And so like we've gone through this stuff before. It's like, my tagline was like husband, father, dude. Then it was like, builder of things,
Right.
because builder of things sounded better than um, serial micro entrepreneur.
Right. I remember
No,
that
that's
for a
very
while.
accurate, but it sounds
Uh-huh.
kind of pretentious. Um,
Mhm.
and so just business builder. If you really look at like my history, where I come from, that makes
It's
the
what
most.
you do for yourself and others.
It's what I do for myself and others. And the builder thing, my family for 2 generations, for 50 plus years built custom homes. And so I
Right.
grew up in construction, and it has a lot of meaning to me, and hopefully it will get people's attention. But we launched a new website. It's intentional. The one before that was reactionary, I will say.
Okay.
And so it's very intentional. Have some free things for people to walk through. There's a 30-day, and we may have talked about this before, but there's a 30-day, not challenge, but process that you could go through. You can, sign up for it free, and every day for 30 days, you're going to get emailed something to do that'll take you, 15 minutes or less.
Right.
That it will help improve your business. So
Sure.
anyway, I've also started. Well, I'm starting. They start next week. An online cohort that is probably going to be my primary means of developing my my program
Program.
content. I have all of the content,
Yeah, yeah. I
but I
know you
have
created
not.
the curriculum. It's like a year's worth of stuff. I
Yes,
remember the whole thing.
but it's not like I's dotted, T's crossed, right?
It's the
Um,
outline,
it's the outline, and
not
so
fleshed out for fully. I got you.
exactly, it's all living up here, right? But it's not written down word for word, and so
Okay.
and then I've also the week after that, or 2 weeks after that, 3 weeks from now, starting
Okay.
a local cohort, and it'll be both things will be like once a month, for a couple hours, and um, I'm excited because it's what I do know is in this space. It's 90% listening to what other people have to say. It's
Right.
actually there's a very strong parallel between the way I see it, between what you do and what I do. Um,
Mhm.
I would say definitely on the life coaching side, maybe not on the therapy side. Though I've heard you say it's very similar. You just can't build insurance for life coaching.
Coaching. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Coaching is leading towards the only positive, like, oh, well, I can help you be happier. Whereas therapy is more, I can help you with your depression, get you out of
right,
depression, which
right,
ultimately to help them feel happier, you know what I mean?
right.
Feel better.
It's
So
all about how you look at it. And for the
yeah,
same, just like your book, I don't want to go after people that are that need triage.
right.
Um, I do, you know, well, it's like anything else. Like if you let's say for example, you targeted people in churches. In general, people that attend a church are believe in and are looking for betterment, right?
Yeah, they
So
typically go in with a growth mindset.
yes,
And so
exactly,
they're
exactly.
looking to change themselves, to become better, to make things better, to make a better life. They're not there to be like, let's see how much worse we can make this,
Right,
right?
right, right.
So
But yeah,
yeah,
so I don't, not looking for the the dumpster fires. Though I can help in those too. But anyway,
sure.
so there's different levels, but it all starts with free. And so I'm just excited to finally be bringing this stuff to fruition because this for me has been about a 10-year journey
Yeah,
from when I was like, here are my beliefs. And it's not that anything's all that unique. It's just like I think in business and marketing and lead generation, like whatever, there are certain truths
right,
and everyone's kind of repeating the same things, but they have
right,
a different take on it. And so I'm
right.
excited about it. But that's what I've been working on. That and taxes. Can I just give if there's the biggest piece of advice I can give to someone,
Sure.
get a bookkeeper and an accountant that you can depend on.
Yes.
I having I had to prep financials for 5 different entities last week, which is also why we didn't meet last week. Um,
Okay.
and I it is that time of year that I absolutely hate. Not my most um, favorite thing to do,
Sure.
but I have learned. I was given this advice a long time ago. Like the boring things, you kind of have to lean into as a business owner
Right.
because that's the stuff that most people won't do. If you can excel in the boring things, or if you can get to the point where you can offload those on someone else, um, and free
Right.
up your time and be more creative. Anyway, so I do want to talk about. I don't know how many books I've read
Okay.
in the last month and a half, 2 months. Let's say since Thanksgiving.
Okay.
It's in the double digits. I know that.
Okay.
So I'm very hungry right now. My brain's very hungry, and it's not getting um, satiated. It just wants more.
Okay.
And so one of the books I just want to talk a little bit about that I read recently is called Profit First.
Okay.
It's by Mike Michalowicz. I think I'm saying that name right. And it's it's really geared towards small business, but small business is like I think 25 million or less a year. So most businesses are small business.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is just kind of give you a rundown of like his philosophy, his framework, and then just kind of get your reaction if you're good with
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So basically the traditional way of dealing with profit in a business is, sales minus expenses equals profit. The
Yes.
problem with that is that I can tell you from my own experience, when you have money come in, you tend to spend it.
Yeah.
I can remember some very big day paydays. I remember one I think it was a Thursday where I closed 2 deals and it was a $40,000 day. Um, great, but
Right.
I don't remember ever cashing like a $40,000 or two $40,000 checks. I don't remember the money coming in those days. And honestly, um, I remember that season. There was about a 2-year stretch where the marketing agency closed every proposal it put out. It was weird. That's not normal.
Okay.
Anyway, but I didn't walk away from that season really with
Anything.
anything. Yeah, like that's what's funny. And so I feel like I can speak to this. So his
Okay.
his whole thing is like, profit is treated like leftover. Expenses tend to expand and eat all of the profit. Cash flow is typically unpredictable for most businesses, which is why I
Right.
moved towards a subscription model. Um,
Right.
and you know, a business can look successful on paper, but not feel like it when it translates
Sure.
to what you're actually taking home. So,
Right.
his thing is to go profit first. So it's sales minus profit equals what you're allowed to spend on expenses.
Okay.
So the idea is, as soon as money comes in, you have a certain percentage, and you're starting with 1% that you set aside, and that is for profit. Now, it doesn't
Okay.
mean you're taking an owner's draw out of that every month or anything like that. It's
Okay.
literally set there for long term.
Okay.
So you do this and this is a very, very short summary of a book.
Okay.
So that I just want to, this is the
Sure.
thing I think if you take away nothing, this is what you want to take away.
Okay.
You create 5 different bank accounts.
Okay.
And this isn't like in a spreadsheet or in QuickBooks. You actually create 5 bank accounts. And
Okay.
what your all of your money comes in and out of right now is probably, a checking account. You turn that into your operational expenses account, your OpEx account, and
Okay.
you leave that for all of your expenses to come out of.
Okay.
You also create an income account, and that's where all of your deposits go into. So you deposit into this income account, and then twice a month, the 10th and the 25th, you divvy up the money that's in the profit account and you take it down to zero. Or sorry, not the profit account. Sorry, in the income account. The 10th and the 25th of every month, you divvy up the money and put it into 4 other
All the different
accounts.
accounts.
So those
Okay.
4 accounts are profit. And again, you start with 1% and
Okay.
you add a percent every quarter.
Okay.
Um, owner's pay, which is basically your paycheck, right?
Okay.
Um, and taxes, you take
Okay.
15% off the top, set it in there for
Okay.
your quarterlies, and then the rest goes into operating expenses. Now, are you going to have to trim some fat out of your, operating expenses? Probably.
Okay.
But the idea is you're setting aside, say the first quarter, you're setting aside 1% of everything that comes in there into a
Okay.
profit only account that you don't touch. You
Okay.
can't steal from these accounts.
Okay.
And then at the beginning of quarter two, the first day of quarter two, you take half of what's in the profit account and you
Okay.
distribute it as owner's draw bonus. You're still getting paid as an owner through the owner's pay account. So
Right.
you're getting paid twice a month. I only
Okay.
pay myself once a month, but you know,
Okay.
um, and so over time it builds up. I'm going to actually put this into action with starting with Lookie and Niche. Going to
Okay.
put it in practice there and see how it
Okay.
all works out. And then if it does work the way it's supposed to, I'm
Right.
going to try that with everything else. And even my personal life, I already tend to put money in savings whenever I do get paid. Um, but it's a savings account that's just a little too accessible, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
And so anyway, it's a really, really interesting idea. I'm excited to try it out.
Yes.
But yes, like I said, I'm going to try it with Lookie first because I'm
Okay.
also not at all dependent on the money that comes into Lookie. Um,
Okay.
so anyway, what's your reaction? What are your thoughts?
My first reaction is I can't say it's positive, but I won't say it's necessarily net negative. It's I don't have enough information. And maybe it's because I haven't read the book, but I can tell you just it's bringing up something for me. And so the thing that it's bringing up, obviously, whenever somebody says something or you hear something, this kind of goes back to my book. It ties to an old story. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, wait, and then you have something in your past. So the old story that's coming up for me is there was a time where I don't want to, I can share. So I was a part of a business, a small part of a business that ended up getting half purchase or like a majority purchase by a different owner. And my
Okay.
father and I were involved in it, and it was growing. It was good. And my dad wasn't the best at projecting futures in the business. So we brought on this, and he brought accounts, and it was supposed to be a really, really, really good move.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was early 20s. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the city. I'm going to go with the score where I was working with the, what was it? It was something with building business. And if you wanted to be an entrepreneur and you go and you could take these classes, and it was through the city and the college and whatever downtown. And so I took a couple of courses that opened my eyes to business in a way that I never understood. And I would sit in the business meetings with that old owner, and he would be like, oh my God, check it out. We got this, and we're going to do this, and we're expanding. We're growing at like 30% a month. Like
Right.
this is huge. Here's our profit and loss. We're making a crap ton of money. And I go, slow down. We have to work with cash flow.
Right.
That's a completely different thing. And we do out cash flow projections, and we were going to be bankrupt in 6 months at that pace. Like
Right.
we couldn't do it. It was showing, oh, we're like 30% profit. And it's like, yes, but with the expansion and the way we're paid, cash flow, we're going to be borrowing, and we'll borrow ourselves into oblivion before we have to stop growing. We
Yeah.
cannot grow the business near this fast. We have to pump the brakes. And he was like, that's the dumbest thing I ever, like we used to just get in arguments and fights. Ultimately, yeah, the business failed.
Yeah.
Because it outgrew itself, and it just grew too big for its britches, and there
Yep.
wasn't enough. He was pulling money out of his retirement 401 and borrowing against it, being like, where the hell's the money going, thinking we were stealing it or whatever. And I would show him, this is what I learned at that class. It's cash flow projection. Let me show you in
Yeah.
the 60
Yeah.
days. And we're waiting for our money from these people, but we're paying out money early for the materials. And so anyway, it was apparently a different, and every time he'd be like, you're not thinking about this right. And I'm like, I think I'm the one thinking about it right, but I don't know enough to argue.
Right.
So my thought is, I don't know enough to argue with you or to tell you that's not a good idea. But I would say it's probably that system is better served doing it on a business that's pretty stable
Yeah.
rather than Lookie that is in an expansion and growth period. Because if the expenses and the income, like the expenses outreach the income because of expansion with marketing and with all of the other things you're needing to do, there may not be any profit to take. You may actually have to put money into the business which I know a lot of people don't understand. You have to, this is why it's saying, oh no, it's profitable in 3 months. And it's like, no, it's not. It's
Right.
profitable on a P&L, but it's
Right.
not really profitable in a cash flow yet because it isn't cash flowing.
So that's kind of that's what you're saying is actually what it is. You're
Okay.
looking at cash flow, and the way it's set up is basically to okay, like we all, yes, should be doing P&Ls, but they can lie to you, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And if you need to go to, I don't know, buy a new computer, are you opening up a P&L and going, okay, based on what we're seeing here and projecting out, like, you're not doing that. What people do, what human um, nature is to open up the bank account, get on your phone, open it up and be like, oh, yeah, no, I've got money. And so
Uh-huh.
that's kind of the idea is like instead of trying to change you to use P&Ls and that kind of stuff, it's changing your system to work with your human nature. So if
Okay,
you
I got
look
you.
at
So
it,
it's
it
part of
really
your
is
it it
cash
is
flow.
actually, so income ultimately becomes an expense
Sure. Yes. You're
that you're
just taking it off the
expending to
top.
yourself
Yeah.
into that other account. So it becomes a line item where it's like, nope, it's mandatory. It isn't, is there any left that
It's
we can say
mandatory.
is profit? It's saying, no, we're going to set aside this much so that it doesn't get swallowed up in the minutia of running the business.
Right. And
Okay.
I don't get me wrong, I'm definitely gonna implement it in, like, Infinity also.
Okay.
Um, I'm just more excited about implementing it implementing it in Lookie because I won't feel the pain. I haven't had to,
Sure.
we took draws for the first time, from Lookie, in December. We just kinda, like, let all the profits from the year ride,
Okay.
and now don't get me wrong, that draw was not big when you look at the amount of time we put in,
The
but we
investment.
started
Sure.
the business 6 months before, and so honestly, feel pretty good.
Any
Um,
positive cash flow at that point and
yes,
leftover profit in 6 months is crazy. Like that's
yes,
proof of concept. Like
yes,
that's
and that
working.
was we both took, decent sized draws, and that was with, losing about $4,000 to a client that didn't pay us. Um, so that's all I'm gonna say about that, but, anyway, I think it's gonna be exciting to actually, what it reminds me of is, Dave Ramsey's, like, thing where you take money and you put it in envelopes,
Yep.
where like this is
Yes.
what I can blow, this is for bills, this is for mortgage or whatever,
Groceries, for food, for
groceries, yeah.
entertainment.
It's
Uh-huh.
doing that with bank accounts instead of, having to do it 'cause it'd be really difficult in business to do that with cash.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I'll let you know how it works. Maybe we'll do a check-in, like,
Do a follow-up and
yeah, in like April or something,
yeah.
and just see what the pain
At
points are.
yeah, at quarter 2.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
That way we can do a quarterly check-in and see how it goes over the next year, and then when you decide to implement it into, other additional, segments of your 5
Yeah.
major businesses that you're
Yeah.
running.
Well,
So,
I will definitely put a link to the book in the show notes.
as
Um,
soon as I get one, and again, like, if you're listening to this and you're interested, read it,
yeah, don't take
but
my don't take
read it
my
with a grain of salt because it's, I don't know how to, so it was all on me. I had to format it. I had writing it, no problem. I wrote it all on Word doc. And then I was like, upload, and it's like, no, you have to format it to a 6 by 9 and a something. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do that. And so I Googled how to do it. And then it said, oh, download this template. So I did it and I merged it over and it screwed everything up. And so I went in and tried to fix it anyway. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. Like it gets the
done.
point across. Like if you
Yeah.
read all the words, it's great. If, as long as you don't get, as long as your OCD or your anal retentive nature doesn't kick into where you're like, why is that? You know, why isn't it that? So the formatting, anyway, I apologize. But done is better than perfect. I could have fussed and fiddled with it for another month and it wouldn't have been that much better off.
Well, I'm looking forward to reading it, and I have many ideas of what you've already thought of them, I'm sure, of what you can do with it. But I look
And I'm
forward.
definitely looking forward to, I want to do it. What I'd really like to do too, and it doesn't necessarily have to be on the podcast, but as we continue, I'm going to need some landing pages, some email sequencing, some other things.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is finally the time where I'm going to go ahead and invest because
Yeah, do some marketing.
I see potential. Before I would be like, I'll give it a shot for 3 months, knowing I was going to get nothing from it.
Yeah.
So it was just, do I have the money to blow? But I'll tell you, it, like you said, this has been probably an 8 or 10 year course to get here in
Right.
a lot of expensive lessons. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have the confidence I have right now to step into this had I not attempted all of those other things and spun in circles and burnt out and all
Yeah.
of the stuff to recognize what it is I have now.
Yeah.
So
Same.
so
Yeah.
anyway,
It's
yeah, I'm
that.
excited to see where this heads and what
And
we
it's,
can do.
I think we're both at the point where it's like, okay, well, now what? We have all this knowledge or this framework or whatever. And it's like, I feel I have to do something with it.
Time
And
to implement. This is
exactly.
2026 is the year of implementation. I have done all of the prep and the pre-work and all of that multiple times. That's my favorite part
Right.
is the inception, but now it's time for execution. And so this is time to execute.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right,
Let's
man. Well,
get it
hey,
done.
I am sorry that I have to run. I have a business lunch to go to about an hour and a half away. But until
Okay.
next week, mind your business. Hey, thanks for listening to the Minding Your Business podcast. Your hosts are Aaron Gerals and me, CJ Jolliffe. If you want to find out more about us or when we're going live or follow us on socials, just go to our website, mybpodcast.com. And again, thank you so much for listening.